Frederick the Clockmaker's Apprentice, Part 1. Tonight, we're going somewhere outside of time altogether, a place where the hours don't rush past the way they do in ordinary life. There's a narrow shop on a street you've never quite been able to find in daylight, and it's always evening there, always warm, always humming faintly with the sound of 100 small mechanisms doing their patient work. You don't need to remember how you got in. You only need to let the door close softly behind you and let your shoulders come down from your ears. This is the first evening of something that will unfold slowly over many nights, and there is truly nowhere else you need to be. Let's begin. The bell above the door makes a sound like a single drop of water landing in a still pond. Not sharp, not startling, just a small, round note that fades before you finish noticing it. You step inside, and the cold of the street falls away behind you, like a coat someone gently lifts from your shoulders. The shop smells of machine oil and old wood, and something faintly like cinnamon, though you can't find its source. Warm light comes from lamps with amber glass shades, scattered across workbenches at heights that don't quite match, as though the room grew its furniture rather than being furnished by hand. And everywhere, there are clocks. They cover every wall, tall case clocks with pendulums swinging in unhurried arcs, small brass carriage clocks lined up like a row of patient birds, cuckoo clocks with painted doors, waiting for their small wooden occupants to emerge. Clocks shaped like moons, like ships, like the folded wings of something that might once have flown. None of them show quite the same time. And yet, standing in the middle of the room, you notice that this doesn't trouble you at all. Their ticking overlaps into something that sounds like a conversation between old friends, each one speaking at their own pace. "You're a little early?" says a voice from somewhere near the back, which in this shop is the same as being right on time. The clockmaker steps out from behind a tall shelf of small drawers, wiping their hands on a cloth that was probably white a very long time ago. They're neither young nor old in any way you could pin down. Their hair is silver at the temples, their eyes are the pale grey of an early morning sky, and their hands, when they reach out to shake yours, are steady and warm and marked with the fine calluses of someone who has spent a lifetime doing careful, small work. "I've been expecting you," they say, and somehow you believe them completely, even though you couldn't say when the expecting might have started. "Come in properly. Let the door rest." You do. The door settles into its frame with a soft click, and the sound of the street, if there ever was one, disappears entirely. The clockmaker leads you between the benches, past shelves of gears in every size, brass and steel, and one shelf, near the window, of gears that look as though they're made of something closer to glass. Little wooden trays hold screws so small you'd need a loop to thread them. Coils of fine wire hang from hooks like copper hair. In the far corner, a stove ticks with its own kind of warmth, and a copper kettle rests on top of it, steaming gently, as though it's always been steaming. "This is where you'll work," the clockmaker says, stopping at a bench near the window. It's smaller than the others, but it catches the last of whatever light comes through the glass. Not sunlight exactly, more like the soft gold of a lamp left on in a room down the hall. On the bench sits a single tool resting on a folded cloth. A small screwdriver with a handle of dark, smooth wood, worn into the shape of a hand that has held it 1,000 times before yours ever will. That belonged to my own teacher, the clockmaker says. And there's no weight in the way they say it, no solemnity, just a simple fact laid down like a stone on a path. It's yours now, for as long as you're here. Which, I should tell you, tends to be longer than people expect. You pick it up. It fits your palm, as though it has been waiting. Tonight, the clockmaker says, settling onto a stool beside you, we won't fix anything or wind anything. Tonight, we listen. They gesture to the room at large, to the walls thick with clocks, to the layered ticking that fills every corner of the shop. Every clock in this room keeps its own time, they explain. Some run fast, some run slow. A few of them, if I'm honest, have never told the correct hour once in all the years I've owned them. And it doesn't matter in the slightest. What matters is that they keep going, the sound they make while they do it. You close your eyes for a moment, not because anyone's asked you to, but because the sound seems to deserve it. Beneath the general hum, you start to hear individual voices. A ship-shaped clock on the far wall ticks in a low, steady rhythm, unhurried, like the creak of a boat at rest against a dock. Somewhere above the door, a mantel clock's tick is quick and bright, almost cheerful, like rain against a window in early spring. Near the stove, an old case clock's pendulum swings with a heavier, rounder sound, patient as breathing. You'll learn their names, the clockmaker says quietly, in time. Every clock in this shop has one, though half of them I gave myself since nobody left instructions. That one. They nod toward a small brass clock shaped like an owl, its round eyes made of pale glass. Is called Wednesday, for reasons I've long since forgotten and no longer feel the need to explain. You find yourself smiling at that easily without meaning to. The kettle begins to sing low and soft, more suggestion than demand, and the clockmaker rises to pour 2 cups of something that smells like honey and dark tea, and, faintly, of the cinnamon you noticed when you first walked in. They set a cup in front of you on the bench, steam curling up past the small screwdriver, past your waiting hands. Drink that slowly, they say, settling back onto their stool. Nothing in this shop is meant to be done quickly. That's rather the whole point of the place. You wrap your hands around the cup and let its warmth seep into your fingers. Outside the window, if it is outside, if there is truly a beyond to this room at all, the light has the soft blue quality of a winter evening, though no snow falls, and no wind moves the bare branches you can just make out in the middle distance. It's simply evening, the way the shop is warm, the way the tea is exactly the temperature you needed. Your first task, the clockmaker says, won't be tomorrow. It won't even be next week, not really, not in a way you'd notice passing. Your first task is only this, to sit here, at this bench, and let yourself get used to the sound of many things keeping their own time at once. Some people find it strange at the start, the lack of agreement. But you'll find, before long, that it's the most restful sound there is. Nothing here is racing anything else or running late. You take a slow sip of the tea. It tastes the way the shop smells. Warm, unhurried, faintly sweet. The clockmaker picks up a small clock from the bench beside them, turning it over gently in their hands, though they don't open it, don't touch its inner workings. They simply hold it, the way you might hold something not to fix it, but only to keep it company for a while. There's a rhythm to this work, they say, half to you, half to the clock in their palm. You'll learn it slowly, A gear seated wrong will tell you before you even lift a tool. You'll hear it in the tick, a little catch where there shouldn't be one. A spring wound too far will hum instead of sing. None of that matters tonight. Tonight is only for listening. The stove ticks. The pendulum clocks along the far wall swing their long, slow arcs. Somewhere close by, the little owl clock, Wednesday, chimes once softly, for no hour in particular, simply because it felt perhaps like the right moment to speak. You feel your own breathing start to match the pace of the room. Not any single clock, not any one rhythm, but the whole of it together. The layered sound of many things going on at once. Your shoulders, which you hadn't noticed were raised, come down. The cup in your hands grows lighter as the tea disappears, sip by unhurried sip. You're tired, the clockmaker observes, not unkindly, watching your eyes grow heavy in the lamplight. That's allowed. More than allowed. It's expected. First evenings in this shop tend to go that way. There's a room upstairs, small and plain, with a bed that has been waiting for someone for a good while now. I think it's been waiting for you, if I'm honest. You want to ask how they can know that, how long you'll stay, what tomorrow's task will be, what the little screwdriver is truly for. But the questions feel soft at the edges, unimportant beside the warmth of the stove and the layered ticking and the tea settling warm in your chest. Sleep first, the clockmaker says, as though they've heard the questions anyway and decided gently that they can wait. The shop isn't going anywhere. Neither are the clocks. Neither, I suspect, are you. Not tonight. They take your empty cup, set it beside the kettle, and nod toward a narrow staircase at the back of the shop that you hadn't noticed before, tucked between two tall cabinets of drawers. The steps are worn smooth in their centers, the way old wood gets when countless feet have climbed them slowly, unhurried, night after night. Go on, the clockmaker says. I'll bank the stove. The clocks will keep their own time, same as always, and tomorrow, whenever tomorrow decides to arrive, there will be a gear that needs your hands, and a story in this shop that's only just beginning to tick. You rise from the bench. The small screwdriver stays where it is, resting on its folded cloth, waiting the way everything in this shop seems content to wait. The stairs feel steady beneath your feet, worn and familiar though you've never climbed them before. Behind you, the ticking continues. Wednesday's soft chime, the ship clock's slow creak, the case clock's rounded breath. A whole room of small, patient hearts, none of them in any hurry to reach morning. At the top of the stairs, a door stands open onto a small room, with a low bed and a window full of that same soft, unplaceable evening light. You don't remember lying down. You only remember the sound of the shop below, drifting up through the floorboards, gentle as a lullaby made of gears and springs and unhurried hours. And the quiet, certain feeling that this is only the beginning of something and that the rest of it will still be here, ticking softly, whenever you're ready to come back. If you're still awake, I hope some part of you is already in that little room above the shop, listening to all those clocks disagree so peacefully with each other. We'll go back soon enough. There's a gear waiting, and an owl named Wednesday, and a clockmaker who never seems to be in a hurry about anything at all. For now, let the ticking carry you the rest of the way. Good night.